Hi guys, it's been a while since I've talked about pivoting, so I'm going to do that again tonight. Why am I going to do that again tonight? Well, I was reminded of a couple of things that I can't really ignore about pivoting. I guess if no one has, ever heard of any pivot systems before, there are two main ones. CTE stands for center to edge. That's considered to be more like an old school type of thing. And then there's Pro 1, which Stan Sheffitt teaches, which is like an extension of center to edge. And then, then there's like my version, which is basically, because I can't figure out everything that they're talking about with the other stuff. I will get into that. I will. The reason that I'm thinking about that tonight is I was reminded there are reasons that pivoting works. I can't explain them. There are reasons that they don't work, and that makes perfect sense to me. The thing about all pivoting systems is that every one of them is malarkey. See, kids, way back in the olden times, if someone said the word bullshit, and there were any fair young maidens around, they would often blush so hard that all the blood vessels in their face would explode all over everybody, and it was really gross. So they decided they need to come up with a different word, and they came up with the word malarkey, and they were going to use that instead of the word bullshit. They mean the same thing, though. Every one of them. And I will stand behind that statement. They don't work, but they do work. I will also stand behind that statement. I know there's a contradiction there, but there is. Anyway, I was thinking about how there are some things I can't ignore about pivoting. Even if I'm like the biggest cynic that ever lived. And I'm not. There are things I can't ignore. I want to say about 20 years ago, there was a guy, ostensibly a pool player, named Dipshit Jones. And nobody ever heard of him. And then he started pivoting. I don't know if he was doing the old school CTE, or if he was doing Pro 1, or some interpretation, kind of like I do. But when he started pivoting, he had a fantastic year. He had an unbelievable year for any pool player. Winning huge tournaments, winning lots of money. Just fantastic. After about a year, he fell off the face of the earth, and nobody's heard from him or seen him since. Okay. So I thought, well, that's interesting, I guess. Probably just a coincidence that he was pivoting and had that year. Okay. Well, a couple years later, the same thing happened with another guy, Crackhead McGee. Nobody ever freaking heard of him. And then he started pivoting. Again, don't know what pivoting system or whatever he was using. Had a fantastic year. Won huge tournaments, won lots of money. Great. Then he disappeared from out face the earth. Nobody's heard from him since. Maybe both these people went crazy trying to explain to themselves why their pivoting was working for them. Maybe they were already crazy. And one of the guys, I think Crackpot McGee might have already been crazy. But I can't deny that they went from, obscurity to superstardom, and they gave all the credit to the fact that they were pivoting. I can't ignore that. A big part of me wants to, but I can't. So, I've made at least one other video about pivoting. I do not do this on every shot. I do it on some. I like to switch different systems and all that stuff in. Plus my vision fluctuates. So on some days one system will work. On another day, I got to use a different thing. Same thing with physical style, stroking, and all that. A couple nights ago, I found myself pivoting. So that's where I'm at right now. So this is what I want to talk about. I'm going to cut the 9 in the corner. The regular CTE or the Pro 1 we talk about lining up the center of the cue ball to the left edge of the 9 because I'm cutting to the right. And they would talk about lining up the right edge of the cue ball to some other point up here on the 9. It's that second line that I've never been able to visualize or imagine. So all I can visualize or imagine is that first line. Center of the cue ball to the left edge of the 9. Again, I'm not doing CTE or Pro 1. I'm not. I'm doing my own version. But the point is you do that lineup and you stand. And so you're lined up. I was never given any instruction about I'm supposed to stand here or I'm supposed to stand here. Just stand. So, yes, I can still stand up. So we do that. And because I'm cutting to my left, or to my right, sorry, I pivot to my left, pivot counterclockwise. So I'm just standing here. And then when I come into center ball. And then at that point, I stroke straight. Stroking straight is one of the absolute main components about any of these pivoting systems. Is you stroke straight. This is a good thing, and I think that's one of the big, selling points or whatever about pivoting, is it forces you to stroke straight because it is an integral part of the system. The other one is consistency. I'm doing the same thing. Even though it doesn't make any sense, I'm going to cut the 14 in that same pocket. I have a different angle this time. I'm still going to line up center of the cue ball to the left edge of the 14. Again, I don't see that second line. But I'm still going to do that. I'm still going to stand. I'm still going to pivot counterclockwise, stop the center ball, and stroke straight. This is my method for this pivoting stuff. Not the CTE as taught by Hal Hool, not Pro 1 as taught by Stan Shepard. It's just mine. But that's the thing. Because it's all malarkey. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I don't see a second line, because the second line doesn't exist. First line doesn't exist. It's all imagination stuff and visualization stuff. And I really believe it's about consistency and stroking straight in this case. That's what I think. I'm one of those guys. I like to know why things work and all that. I've kind of given up on any of the pivoting because, as I mentioned earlier, they don't work, except they work. There's no explanation possible for them because they don't work, except they work. I usually do my pivoting as I just described. If I have a very slight cut, like I have right now on this 9 in that same pocket, I cannot go center of the cue ball to the left edge of the 9 and pivot counterclockwise. Maybe if I could see that second line, that I guess the more mainstream center edge systems talk about, then maybe I could do that. But me only seeing one line, I can't go off that left edge of that 9 ball. If it's a very slight cut, I have to go right edge of the 9 ball. Still center of the cue ball, still pivoting counterclockwise, but I have to do it like that. And just stand here, make sure I'm in line, pivot to my left, stop at center ball, stroke straight, and Bob's your uncle. I still think it's cool, even though I don't understand it. I kind of recommend to just about everybody. Hey, if you find something that's fun, it doesn't hurt anything to do it. If you find something that is working for you, even if it's only working some of the time, it doesn't hurt to do it. The problem with the pivoting comes in when people start trying to understand why it works or explain to someone else why it works. I recommend people try this kind of stuff. With as far as pivoting goes, I recommend people never try to explain it to anyone else because it can't be explained because it doesn't work, except it works. You can't explain it. You say it's magic. Okay, fine, it's magic. Well, I don't believe in magic. Well, fine, then don't do it. But don't say some of the crap that I've read on the forums about why this works. Because Mercury's in retrograde and no, just don't. You make yourself sound like a crazy person and or an asshole. So just trust it. That's what Hal Hill told me a million years ago when he's trying to teach me this over the phone. Because I kept asking why. And Dave, just trust it. Just trust it. And I'm not sure I've ever gotten to the point where I fully trust it. But I'm a hell of a lot better off just doing that than I would be trying to figure out why, if I center the cue ball to the right edge of the line. And just because I just pivot and stop at center ball and stroke straight, and why all of a sudden that would work, that's the kind of thing that would drive me crazy. And that might be the kind of stuff that drove Dipshit Jones and Crackpot McGee crazy 20 years ago. Was trying to figure out why the hell does it work. It doesn't work. But it works. And I stand behind that statement. Thanks, guys.